brought in from
Okay.
Dubai, and later on the investigation would go on to the other lists as well. Devika.
All right. Some more news coming in. The DRI has stated that they are still investigating the intended recipients of the smuggled gold. Officials are probing the payment trail as well. Ranya has been booked under the Customs Act of 1962. Authorities are also set to question her husband and other family members in connection with the case. Revenue intelligence officers have observed a recurring pattern in her trips and suspected a link to gold smuggling activities. Let me take that across quickly. Gautam Mukherjee, I will come to you in just a moment. Do we have Mr. Sahai still with us? All right, I'm going to take that quickly with Mr. Sanjay Sai. Mr. Sai, she's been caught perhaps this time. The authorities don't yet know whether this was the first time or this was one of many times. How does the investigation unfold in such a case? Do they then go back to looking at her travel patterns and what she's done in the past? If there has been any suspicious activity at the airports by her, how do the investigative authorities really come to a conclusion whether she's brought anything back with her in the past as well? Because that gold, if it was successfully brought in, will obviously have no trace.
See, that gold does not have a trace, but all the movement and all the transactions have a trace. So last 10 trips or 30 trips, if we restrict to only last 30 or 10 trips, whichever the DRI is looking into at the first instance. So from the time of getting her visa and her travel, every single point has to be documented, has to be verified, and has to be checked. In addition to that, at every single location, what has been the procurement pattern at this particular time can be cross-checked. Plus the monetary gains, if any, and the transactions, if any. Now that has to match with their income tax returns and variety of other financial documents. There will be lots of technical evidence which will be available in their phones, in their computers, in their servers and variety of other places. And today we have enough and sufficient tools that if we run it in this nature of a data, we will get a pattern. With regards to carrying of the gold and bringing it to India in the manner in which she was caught and the nature in which Billy Thomas has described. So whether that has been the case in earlier instances or not, I think for the last 4 instances when she was wearing the same sort of a cloth and with the nature of the whole design of the attire she has. So it gives us very clear-cut indication that it very nearly indicates that the same pattern has been followed. The clinching evidence would be to start with, why did she travel? That's the most important. What is the business travel? It's the personal travel, the frequency of the travel, literally anything and everything will keep on creating newer and newer clues till the time you are able to lay hands on the whole story. For me, I think it does not seem to be a one-off affair. It does not seem to be a lone wolf affair. And there is a huge amount, even the designer jewelry which has been got in her house, I think which is seized from her house. That designer, from a ingot to a biscuit to a designer jewelry, I think there is lots to the story than what meets the eye and what is known to us. And I am convinced of the fact that DRI is moving in the right direction. There is a huge amount of evidence which will come out only through CCTVs, both here in India and in Dubai. And in this particular case, we need international collaboration by way of Dubai police and the UAE police, might be Interpol and variety of other agencies who are or who have special expertise and capability to work, and a technical team, purely technical team, which can work on computer vision, it can work on data analytics, it can work on patterns, it can work for artificial intelligence. I'm nearly convinced of the fact that all that investigative team requires and the resources which they require, that is being worked upon. The only surprising fact is that similar things it happened in Kerala. And there is a huge seizure which happened in Ahmedabad. So why Bangalore was not on the radar, keeping in mind what happened in Kerala, what happened in Trivandrum, and a very high office which was involved or directly, it was alleged to have involved, and a huge amount of smuggling which happens through quite a gaping holes in Kerala. I think Bangalore airport would have been better equipped to handle a situation of this nature.
Okay, all right. In other news,